I am Mark Dannenberg, and I represent Options Moneymaker. But this presentation is all about trading analytics, and we've been collaborating with a company called New Cycle Trading and Analytics. So I'm really presenting an opportunity for traders to really hone their skills on trading based on data that we've collaborated with New Cycle Trading. So I'm going to go ahead and move right forward here. Just 30 seconds here. I'm the founder of Options Moneymaker. We've been teaching traders for the last 10 to 15 years, and I personally have traded for over 30 years. My personal goal when it comes to trading and teaching other traders is to teach, motivate, and inspire traders. Tons of traders out there, thousands of traders who want to learn how to make this part of their life, want to make money trading. That's what we do. We help them learn exactly how to do that. Now, New Cycle Trading and Options Moneymaker, as I said, we collaborated to bring excuse excuse me, bring traders to a set of tools that can master their trading by addressing 5 key success factors. So there are, in my opinion, 5 key success factors that we've really honed in, and we've built our entire training program and the opportunities we offer to traders around these 5 key success factors. Number 1 is technical analysis that we use to identify the beginning of a new cycle. What we know, no matter what time period you're trading, whether you're trading a daily chart, whether you're trading a 1-minute chart, depends on what type of trading you're doing, there are always cycles in the market. We've been it seems like a nonstop move to the upside in the market since March 2009, but within every one of those days it seems to want to climb higher, there are cycles that are also starting to show some signs of weakness and cycle lower. So within each day, there are opportunities. That's technical analysis. Number 2, key success factors, you need to know what your strategy is. Are you a futures trader? Are you an options trader? What type of option strategy do you use? Or are you a stock investor? No matter what type of strategy you decide to use, what I want to talk with you about today will help you. And then technical analysis with historical analysis, which helps us optimize the timing of closing a position. One of the most frequent questions that I'm asked by traders is, how long should I hold a position? When should I get out? When is enough enough? We've actually created a tool that I'm going to share with you today that helps you answer that question. And it's all based on factual, historical data that we've plugged into a matrix program that we created that helps you identify exactly what the right profit target is for any stock that you might decide to trade. And then defining your own personal trading plan, and then following your plan. We have a whole set of tools and curriculum around that. We're not going to get into that today, but it is a key success factor. And then patience and discipline is absolutely a key success factor for any trader who wants to be successful. You've got to have a certain level of knowledge, a certain level of understanding and commitment, but you have to have a discipline to follow your own set of rules and have patience to do that. So the two tools that I want to focus on today are what we refer to as the profit flow market analytics. Profit flow market analytics is the charting tool that was created by New Cycle Trading and Analytics. And it really was designed to identify precise entry and exit criteria. You'd be able to look at any time period, be able to look at any index, any futures chart, any stock chart, and determine when there is an increased probability of the cycle, whether it's an up cycle or a down cycle, reversing. That's what we are working with the profit flow analytics. It does provide the earliest possible signal of a cycle reversal, and I'm going to share that with you here in just a moment. And the same tool is equally effective for options traders, futures traders, or stock investors. The second tool I want to share with you today is the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. That's the tool I referred to that was built for traders to provide information on optimizing how long to hold a position. We've built a whole framework in there for evaluating historical patterns of movement on any stock, index, or futures. And one of the unique features that we incorporated into there was based on, again, questions that I frequently receive from traders, especially traders who are just learning, is how do I achieve my optimum win-loss ratio. And one of the questions I frequently get when I'm talking about any type of performance or strategy is, well, what is your win-loss ratio? Well, there's no one answer to that. And when you really dig into it and understand um, where the win-loss ratio fits into the whole spectrum of tools, you'll understand that it's important for you to decide what you want your win-loss ratio to be, and then use historical information to actually set that for yourself. So this is a unique feature in the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. I'm going to show it to you, that you can actually customize it for your own personal trading style. It allows you to factor in your own personal level of risk tolerance by choosing what parameters you want to use to control your own trading anxiety and increase your confidence in trading. All right, so we're going to take a look at some charts here. We're going to take a look at the profit flow analytics chart. So this is what New Cycle Trading and Analytics has developed. And as I said, Options Moneymaker collaborated with them. We just had a ton of information, historical information and ideas, and we've been doing this for so long. I've been doing it over 30 years. My team, one of my team members has been doing it over 30 years. Another team member's been doing it over 10 years. And what we've identified is a large number of opportunities to use a combination of indicators that are readily available and use those to evaluate when the market is likely to reverse. And that's intraday reversals, can be daily reversals. But the number of indicators that we were looking at was so complex in order to align everything that we worked with New Cycle Trading to develop a very simple to use approach. So every one of these lines is an indicator. This is readily available. This is not this AO, the awesome oscillator, is readily available to any trader out there. It's not unique to New Cycle Trading. But the trend consensus, the profit flow oscillator, the cycle finder, and then what we call the cycle finder plus are unique indicators to New Cycle Trading and Analytics, as well as the trend bias. We've got both two versions of the trend bias, both the slow and the medium. So I don't have time today to go through all of the indicators and help you understand the importance of each and how to use each. So I'm going to start with one of the simplest ones. And this is one of the most commonly used ones for the traders who are using the profit flow analytics chart set, as well as the traders who we work with, my team at Options Moneymaker, in our live trading room. We have a live trading room that we run from 45 minutes before market open every day to market close. So I very simply want to share the dynamics of this Cycle Finder Plus with you. As you can see, there are two lines that comprise the image here. One is a blue line that's a trending line, and the other is a red line that's a trending line. Now, these trending lines are interpreting multiple underlying indicators that are helping us translate into a very, very simple to read signal that is saying basically when this blue line, which we refer to as the lead line, crosses the red line, which is referred to as the basis line, there is a potential move in that direction of the underlying stock. So one of the examples I'm showing you here is Amazon. Amazon had a cross, this is a daily chart, had a cross to the downside here on December 2nd. And then what we see is the price movement. And what we can see is that the price moved, let's see here, on December 2nd, the cross happened, price at the open was 1804.40. And if we held all the way for the next cross, the reversal took us out at 1750. So you've got 54 points of movement in the underlying stock. And then depending on what option we're trading, for trading a 50 delta option, you've got about $25 of profit on that option. And then you can see here that we had a reversal where we get across to the upside, and we enter at 1741, and the next reversal takes us out of the trade at 1799. So what we've worked very, very hard on for the past couple of years in particular is honing the identification of the natural cycles in the market. So we look at stocks like Amazon, we look at indexes. I'm going to show you a couple of other stocks here too. And we use this cycle finder to help us identify when the down cycle is about ready to begin, when the up cycle is about ready to begin. Every once in a while, you get into a few periods here where you get a down indication, and then a couple days later, you get an up indication. That's a little bit more of a choppy market. But even on those periods where you have a down indication here on the 20th of December, entering at 1799, your exit a couple days later is at 1793. That's a down indication. Now, you didn't make as much on that, but you didn't lose on that. And then that's followed immediately by an up indication, rising bias cycle where you're in at 1801. And on that particular day, it moves up to 1870. So not every single one of these crossovers is going to give you a profitable trade. But we've really been honing the development of this indicator, and we've been using it extensively in our live trading room. And what we believe is very strongly that it is one of the best tools available for traders. It's very, very, very simple. If you're a limited time trader, this is the type of tool that you want to dig into, because you could spend just a few minutes every morning looking for crosses on a daily chart, taking those options trades, placing a good till canceled order to close, and then walk away to your regular job, to your business, whatever you do with the rest of your day when you don't have time to trade. So let's take a look at booking. Now, the stocks that I'm choosing here are part of a portfolio that we review every day in our live trading room. And we've chosen them because they have a tendency to move. In some cases, they move much like an index moves. And when we see the opportunities for the crosses, we want to take those trades. So, there's all sorts of crosses we can go back and look at. What I enjoy seeing and what I hear frequently from new traders who start to use the Cycle Finder Plus is just visually they can see where the cross was, and they can see what the price activity was after that. Cross down, price moved down. Cross up, price moved up. Here was a mid-range cross down. There was a little bit of a cross or a move down that day. Cross back up, strong movement to the upside. So you get all of these types of movements. A lot of people will ask me, what do you do around earnings? Do you avoid earnings? Well, no, we don't avoid earnings, but we do follow our signals. So here's a great example on booking of a cross to the downside. That happened on the 28th of October of last year. Now, you might have already been out of it for a profit, but if you're not, there's nothing at all on the chart that told you to get out of that trade until actually 2 days after earnings. And you can see how strong that movement to the downside was. That cross happened when the stock was opening at 2053, and if you held all the way for the reversal, you're out at 1901. So, there's 50 points, but it actually got down to a low of 1841. So it was 210 points down on that move, and that was all evidenced by that crossover dynamic. Then you've got crossover to the upside, and you can see that there's a strong movement to the upside. So there's this nice flowing pattern. Our whole objective was to build the Cycle Finder Plus in such a way that the actual technical indication flowed very similar to the pattern of the stock. So let's take a look at Google. Very similar here, not quite as dynamic as a booking or an Amazon, but you can see here that cross to the downside, get a little bit of movement down there. Another cross to the downside, get nice flow movement down there. Cross to the upside, nice flowing movement up here. Now, this might seem overly simplistic, but actually that is by design. We didn't want a complicated indicator that was taxing people's brain just trying to interpret what the market was doing. We really have spent a considerable amount of time and energy developing a very simple presentation of a signal that interprets multiple other signals behind the scenes, multiple other indicators behind the scenes, and presents to you one very dynamic indicator that will help you take advantage of the market. We actually use this every day in our live trading room, and we call out to our live trading room daily crosses. So if there was a cross to the upside or the downside at the beginning of the market day, we will take that as a trade. If it crosses down, we take that as a put. We buy to open a put option. If it crosses to the upside, we buy to open a call option. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute how we know when to exit that trade. Here's another one. Shopify has been a great trade for us. And Tesla, well, Tesla's just kind of been on a tear. You can see how strongly they've moved to the upside. By the way, I think Tesla is one of the most shorted stocks in the entire market right now. And part of the move to the upside is because so many people have had to cover their shorts. But we're going to see something reverse here. You can see that as we get into the upper part of the range on the Cycle Finder Plus, that eventually that's going to cross over and we're going to see some sort of movement back to the downside. But in the meantime, every time we see a cross to the upside, we can be in a trade. We can either exit that trade based on what I'm going to show you here in just a minute, or we can hold that trade and we can wait until there's an actual reversal. And the last one I want to share with you here is an index. Now on the S&P 500, the Cycle Finder Plus works exactly the same way. It identifies likely opportunities for the market to move lower. So yesterday there was a cross. We're actually in a downward bias cross, and you can see today that we're actually moving lower off of yesterday's high, actually off of yesterday's open. But you can see here that the flow of the indicator itself aligns very closely with the price action on the underlying index. Now, the reason I'm showing you the daily along with the 30 and 10 is because we use shorter time periods at times to help validate the integrity of that trade. So when I look at a situation where I have a daily cross to the downside on the daily chart, and I also have a daily cross on the 30-minute chart, and I also have the 10-minute showing a daily cross. That is a nice full sweep. That is a nice, beautiful alignment right there. And you can see here what happened with the price movement from that alignment of 3 different time periods. We teach all of this in our masterclass. And then the last thing I'll show you here is we use this exact same approach for trading futures in our live trading room. Everything that I just talked to you about is all focused on trading options, but we also trade futures. And as an example, NQ futures is one of the futures contracts that we trade. And what we do most often is we use a 3-minute and a 10-minute chart looking at the Cycle Finder Plus, and we're looking at alignment on the Cycle Finder Plus. So here's a great example. I mean, I can't make this up. These are real-time charts right here. Here was a 3-minute that crossed down here at 10:48 this morning. The 10-minute was also crossed down. That's what we identify as ideal, perfect alignment. And you can see what happened to the price action as soon as that signal came on. NQ is a futures contract that's traded for $20 a point. So that signal opened at 97.12 and a half, and we're already down to 96.22 and a quarter. So that's a 90-point move right there at $20 a point per contract. And you can go back and you can look at all of the crossovers. So this one on the 3-minute was a cross to the upside. You got a little bit of movement up there, price movement up, but we would not have taken that trade because the 10-minute was actually out of alignment. 10-minute was pointing lower, 3-minute was pointing higher. When we're trading futures, we're taking a conservative approach. Futures can be a little bit more risky if you don't know what you're doing, so we adopt a more conservative approach, and we look for alignment between the 10 and the 3-minute. So here's the headline, the takeaway from the Cycle Finder Plus and the full set of profit flow analytics. It is that all of these other indicators have tremendous opportunity for you to trade off of. We haven't even touched on those today, only had time to really touch on the Cycle Finder Plus. But the Cycle Finder Plus is an indicator that can be traded all by itself. You can trade it using futures, you can trade it using options. And if I just jump back to Amazon for a minute, if you happen to be a stock investor and you're looking for opportunities to buy low and sell high, well, the Cycle Finder Plus is your opportunity to do just that. All right, so I want to just take a minute and talk about the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. Now, the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix is a tool that we've created for our community of traders. And we did this in conjunction with the Profit Flow Analytics. So New Cycle Trading and Analytics created the charts that I just showed you. And Options Moneymaker then took that data and that opportunity, and we created this tool called the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. So if I entered an Amazon trade, I want to have some idea of, well, where should I exit my trade? You know, when is enough enough? One of the most common questions I get from traders. When is enough enough? You know, what kind of a profit should I be expecting? You know, if I take $1 of profit on my options trade and I feel good about it, and then it runs another $15, well, I don't feel very good about it. So instead of making this squishy, unknown, don't really know what my target should be, we invested a considerable number of hours, days, weeks, months creating this tool that now we make available to members in our community. So I'm going to give you just a couple of highlights here. First of all, for the tool that we rolled out here in January, and we actually just rolled this out to our community in January, on a certain number of stocks and indexes, we have historical price data, trade data, cycle data loaded from January of 2019. Okay, so this is relying on data that goes back to January 2019. And this tool, by the way, once you access it, you can put as much data in as you want. We show you how to do that in the training, but it comes preloaded with a certain amount of data, and so it goes back just over a year. So what I'm looking at here is I want to determine what my sweet spot is. Now, what we define as the sweet spot, this number that you see is 15, is the amount of points, the number of points of movement that Amazon will typically move from each of the daily crosses. So if the Cycle Finder Plus crosses down, then historically we are anticipating that it will move at least 15 points, and that will happen 80% of the time. So this 80 up here is saying that 80% of the time it'll move 15 points. Well, if you're a more aggressive a trader and you say, well, I would be willing to accept a 60% win rate. So that's a 60% win-loss ratio, 60 to 40. Well, I can now very easily take all this data and just in a keystroke say, what would my sweet spot be if I wanted a 60% win rate, that only 60% of my trades would win? Well, that means that you would be looking for Amazon to move 36 points off of that entry. So instead of guessing, instead of trying to make your best guess, maybe I get this as a profit, maybe I get that, when is enough enough? We've given you all the data you need to get started determining exactly what your profit target should be. And then we put some examples in here, and these are not specific because if you're trading an option, you then take the 36 points of movement multiplied times the delta of the option that you just opened. If, for example, you're trading a 50 delta, which is right at the money, you've got about 18 points of profit that you're going to expect. You add the 18 points to the cost basis of your option, you place a good to canceled order to close that trade, and you walk away. And you come back and check on it the next day. There's no other action that you really need to take that day. This is a once a day activity when you're trading off of the daily crossovers. A 40 delta would tell you to set a profit target of 1440. A 30 delta would be 1080. Heck, maybe you went down to a 10 delta. and you're looking for a $3.60 profit. It doesn't matter what delta you're using. What really matters is, what do you want your desired percentage win rate to be? Maybe you're a conservative trader and you want to look at a 90% probability of win rate. 90%, that means only 10% of your trades, based on the history that we captured for the past 14 months, 90% of the time, um, the cycle will move 4 points. Well, if you're looking at a 50 delta and you're happy with 2 points of profit, well, there you go, 90% of the time. What we felt was a very, very powerful feature, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, but what we thought was a very, very powerful feature is to put in the hands of our traders the ability to decide what your win-loss ratio is, because it's one of the most common focuses for traders. A lot of traders ask the question without really understanding what it means. But for traders who want to control their win-loss ratio and control it in a way that it relates back to historical data, well, you can set it right here. We in the live trading room at Options Moneymaker typically are looking for an 80% win-loss ratio. And I'm not gonna, there's a whole training program that's dedicated, like it's an hour, just over an hour of training that's dedicated just to the profit sweet spot matrix. I'm giving you just a cursory overview of this, but it is a phenomenal tool for any trader. I'll give you a couple of other things here. If you held every single Amazon trade until it reverses, meaning you had a cross to the downside and then you just held that trade until it reverses and crosses back to the upside, the total number of points, of movement for the last 14 months is 1,497 points. Well, divide that in half if you're trading a 50 delta, and there you go. You've got about 750 points of profit. And then of course it depends on how many contracts you're trading. If you used a 15-point sweet spot, which is an 80% win rate, you have 500 points of movement. Well, I'm not telling any of our traders what the right number is. What we're doing is we're educating our traders on how to use this so that you can custom tailor this specifically to your own personal trading. And then you can put in whatever number of contracts you want to trade, and the matrix will help you determine what your total potential profit could be over the course of a year. So if you're trading a 40 delta, you can make $100,000 a year using an 80% win rate. So that's some guidelines. And then of course there's a practical application of this, which we help our traders with every day in our live trading room. Here's another example, NDX. Sorry, let me go to SPX. That's what we showed on the Cycle Finder Plus. An 80% win rate on SPX is a 12% sweet spot. It means that historically 80% of the time, any cycle that is entered off of the daily chart is going to move at least 12 points. And if you use that as your target, then you multiply that times the delta of your position, and that helps you determine what your exit target is. So these two tools, the Cycle Finder Plus, especially on a daily chart, and the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix, when you use those together, they open up a lot of opportunity for traders. A lot of traders are just kind of fumbling around. They think they're using tools that they know how to use, but they don't really understand the dynamics of the full spectrum of how to put these tools into play, how to use them to actually make money. What we've done working with New Cycle Trading is we've created a set of technical indicators. Take the Cycle Finder Plus as an example. We're telling you this is a high probability trade for you to enter. Now go to your profit sweet spot matrix and determine what a reasonable profit target is for that based on historical data. And we can also do the same thing on short-term trades. We have profit sweet spot matrix data for the 310 combination for NQ on futures trades. And then there's a template in the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix that allows you to go and create your own history on anything that you might want to trade that we don't have embedded in there. Right now we have Amazon, Booking, Google, Tesla, NDX, and SPX, and we're working on a few others that we're going to embed in there eventually. So that's really what I wanted to share with you today. I think in summary, the 5 key success factors are very important for any trader to focus on. The 5 key success factors include knowing when to get in and get out. And that's what the Profit Flow Analytics tells you. In particular, what I'm talking about today, the Cycle Finder Plus. That tells you when to get in and when to get out. One of the other key success factors is knowing when to exit and using historical information. That historical information is more than just knowing when to exit. It also is it's an opportunity to significantly reduce the amount of anxiety you have. In every decision you make in trading, there's a certain level of anxiety. Am I making the right decision? Am I leaving too much on the table? Am I waiting too long to exit? Am I creating too much risk? By combining these 2 tools, the Profit Flow Analytics and the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix, you take a ton of anxiety off your shoulders, and you just follow the rules. You just follow the pattern and you follow the rules. You don't second guess it. You just follow it. And if you're using an 80% win rate, you know that 20% of the time you might have a losing trade. Or 20% of the time it didn't get to 15 points in the example I showed you, but it might only get to 5 points. And then there's a reversal. So not every one of the trades that doesn't hit your sweet spot ends up being a losing trade. But if you just assume that you set it at an 80% win rate, or whatever you choose, maybe 90%, then you know you have a very high probability of winning on the trade. Last night in our bi-weekly Q&A, we talked about the trades that we've taken just this week. Yesterday, I think there were 3 trades that we opened off of daily signals. 2 of them closed out 2 of them closed out within an hour or so, just simply based on the automatic good till canceled order to close. So it's pretty efficient trading, but we are efficient because we have, I think, some of the best tools available for traders. They're very, very simple to use. So let me just jump back here. I want to make this available to you if this is something that interests you. I mean, we are getting people who are adopting the program almost every single day, and we just try to make this as powerful for traders as possible, but we also try to make it as accessible as possible. And once you get involved, you'll find out that the investment to take this on and include it in your tool set is pretty small compared to the opportunity for a win. But we're offering an exclusive package for the Investor Inspiration audience here. If you take everything that's involved in the package, it's about a $1,600 value. We've bundled that for $997, and what it includes is your Profit Flow Analytics. First month of the Profit Flow Analytics includes our master class 5-session video set. It includes the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. It includes all of the key things that you need to get yourself started. And if you're interested and you sign up by Monday, this coming Monday, the 24th, then we're going to take another $200 off of that. So it's $797 to access everything that you need. Now, there's more information at optionsmoneymaker.com/investor. If you go to optionsmoneymaker.com/investor, you're going to see a complete list of everything that's included in this package. We have loaded up a ton of stuff in this package, but the highlights are the Cycle Finder Plus, access to that, and also the Profit Sweet Spot Matrix. You get all of that. Plus you get our masterclass, which is a 5-session training session. So I wanted to make this really simple today. I wanted to help you see, and I hope I did, that there's a huge opportunity by just simplifying things. Now, it requires a little bit of an investment on your part. I get that. But if you are ready to make that investment and that commitment, we have tremendous training available for you, and we have the tools available that I think you're going to be absolutely delighted about. And personally, because I use these tools every single day, there's no doubt in my mind that once you learn how to use them properly, which we're going to give you that training, that $797 is something that you can earn back very easily, very quickly in a matter of days. So it's a one-time cost of the $797 upfront to get access right now, and then you'll see all the details in optionsmoneymaker.com/investor page.